Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching News at 10 with me, Shuhaida Arifin. Malaysia and Indonesia are prepared to work on the details of travel corridors involving citizens of the two countries. Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said following the Malaysia-Singapore vaccinated travel lane announcement made yesterday, he hopes for the same initiative to be discussed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob during his meeting with Indonesian President Joko Widodo tomorrow.
Kalau antara Malaysia dan Singapura, kita menggunakan istilah vaccinated travel. Travel lane. Vaccinated travel lane, VTL. Dan bermula dengan travel yang menggunakan kapal terbang. Jadi, mula-mula antara lapangan terbang Kuala Lumpur di Sepang dengan lapangan terbang Changi di Singapura. Jadi mudah-mudahan akan dipanjangkan lagi nanti dengan Jakarta, dengan Bangkok dan sebagainya.
According to the minister, both Putrajaya and Jakarta will refine a proposal to recognise vaccination certificate through respective country surveillance and contact tracing application MySejahtera and Peduli Lindungi. Last month, Datuk Saifuddin said the recognition of the vaccination certificate will directly contribute to the border reopening and boost economic activities in both countries. The minister was met after delivering 15 artworks, including the royal headdress Dendam Tak Sudah, Pahang's traditional woven fabric and Malaysia's traditional gong to the permanent representative of Malaysia to ASEAN, Kamsiah Kamarudin. The artworks were part of cultural exchange program between Southeast Asian country and placed at the ASEAN Secretariat Gallery in Jakarta. The Health Ministry MOH is in the process of preparing a projection on the number of medical officers that need to be appointed on a permanent basis. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the projection would be submitted to the Public Service Department JPA and the Finance Ministry.
Menerusi pembentangan belanjawan tempoh hari, kerajaan telah bersetuju untuk menyambung pelantikan secara kontrak kepada 10,583 orang pegawai perubatan, pergigian dan farmasi dengan peruntukan sebanyak 336.35 juta ringgit. Selain itu, kerajaan juga akan menyediakan 100 juta ringgit bagi dimanfaatkan 3,000 pegawai kontrak perubatan dan pergigian bagi penajaan program kepakaran.
Speaking in Parliament today, Khairi said that since the end of 2016, more than 24,000 graduate training medical officers had been appointed on a contract basis, but only about 1,000 of them were offered permanent posts. Khairi said this in response to a question by Port Dickson MP Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on measures taken by the government move in facing the second wave of the Hartal doctor contract, a movement by Health Ministry contract doctors and the financial implication facing by the government if the contract medical officers were to be absorbed to permanent posts. There are 1,474 slopes with moderate to very high hazard identified in 5 states which may be affected in the northeast monsoon season. Senior Works Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof said slopes with such risks are located in several critical federal roads in Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, Johor and Negeri Sembilan.
Kementerian Kerja Raya bersama cawangan kejuruteraan Cerun, JKR telah memasang sistem amaran awal tanah runtuh di lokasi-lokasi berisiko melalui penggunaan sistem telemetri yang akan memberi amaran awal apabila rainfall index pada tolok hujan yang telah dipasang melebihi tahap amaran.
The minister added that there are 48 rain gauge stations nationwide with 36 stations in Peninsular Malaysia and they are installed on federal roads with potential of landslides such as FT59, FT185, FT4, FT55, FT102 and several other critical routes. He said the ministry had also attended several series of engagements with the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA as well as other agencies in preparing for the 2021-2022 Northeast monsoon. East Coast states are expected expected to face the northeast monsoon, which usually starts in October to March next year following several series of heavy rain during the period. Fadila pledged that the ministry is prepared for the northeast monsoon each year, and all state and district JKR have been ordered to carry out measures and make preparations in terms of manpower, machinery and logistics. The 8 past representatives in Melaka state election are capable of creating upsets and attracting young voters, according to PAS Secretary General Datuk Taqiyuddin Hassan. The Energy and Natural Resources Minister said all PAS candidates came from various backgrounds, but they have one target, which is to bring victory to the party under the Perikatan Nasional umbrella.
8 calon yang kita kemukakan ini memberikan kepelbagaian di dalam PAS itu sendiri. Kita ada dari segi umur yang berbeza, background yang berbeza dan penekanan yang berbeza-beza. Terutamanya pengundi muda yang diberikan tumpuan akan mungkin akan beri sokongan kepada calon muda kita lah. Saya agak optimis lah kita boleh mencapai, kalau tidak 100% pun kita akan membuat satu kejutan lah di Melaka ni, insyaAllah.
Datuk Taqiyuddin said this to reporters after attending a Product Safety Award 2021 ceremony in Putrajaya today. PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin on Saturday announced the alliance would be contesting in all 28 seats of the State Assembly in the Melaka election, with 15 seats represented by Bersatu, PAS 8, Gerakan 5. The Election Commission has set the polling day for the Melaka election on 20th November, while nomination day was on 8 November and early voting on 16 November, following the dissolution of the State Assembly on 4th October after 4 assemblymen withdrew their support for Chief Minister Datuk Sri Sulaiman Mat Ali. The owner of the Twitter account, Edisi Siasat, has been asked to lodge a report and come forward with any evidence on allegations of abuse of power, malpractice and corruption involving senior officials of enforcement agencies in the country. Inspector General of Police, Datuk Seri Akrisani Abdullah Sani, said the account owner needs to prove the allegations and not just make claims on the social media platforms on the alleged irregularities. He said so far 13 investigations papers had been opened involving the Twitter account, and almost all individuals, including senior police officers who were allegedly involved in the misconduct, had given their statements.
Yang pertama sekali mereka akan dirakam keterangan percakapan mereka, dan dari situ kita akan melihat sejauh mana dakwaan yang dikatakan tersebut sama ada diwujud ataupun tidak.
Recent allegations in the Twitter account on misconduct by some senior police officers and the top management of the anti-graft agency protecting criminal syndicates had gone viral on social media. The IGP said the allegations involving the Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) had been handed over to the Bukit Aman Integrity and Standards Compliance Department (JIPS) for verification. A company manager is under investigation by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) for allegedly asking and receiving over 840,000 ringgit as protection money from a factory owner. The 50-year-old suspect was arrested at about 5 p.m. yesterday in Kuala Lumpur and has since been remanded for 5 days. According to out permits, Shah Alam Magistrate Court Judge Muhammad Reza Azhar Rezali granted the MACC a 5-day remand order against the manager beginning today to this Saturday. Meanwhile, when contacted, Selangor MACC Director Dato' Alias Salim confirmed the arrest. He said the case is being investigated under Section 16, Subsection A of the MACC Act 2009. Coming up, Malaysia on track to achieve 6.5% deficit target this year. The cost to perform Hajj will be decided before January 2022. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Religious Affairs, Dato' Ahmad Marzuq Syahri, said the government gives its assurance that the cost will be subsidized, but it will depend on Tabung Haji's financial capability.
Kadar haji masih lagi belum, kadar untuk kos haji setiap jemaah itu belum lagi difinalkan. Yang itu akan diputuskan dalam kabinet. Tapi apa yang saya boleh sahkan berdasarkan kepada situasi semasa di Saudi sekarang ini, dengan jumlah VAT, Value Added Tax kerajaan Saudi dah daripada 5% naik 15%. Jadi kos untuk ground di sana itu akan meningkat. Juga akan meningkatkan kos kita sinilah.
The government is confident of achieving its deficit target of 6.5% of gross domestic product (GDP) for this year. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz said Malaysia is on track to meet the target, but much would depend on the country's revenue performance, how far it can be prioritised spending, and the final GDP outcome. Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul said all eyes will now be on the country's second half-year performance.
We rationalised our expenditures in 2021 to accommodate the increase in the COVID-19 fund to 39 billion ringgit. This is to finance the additional assistance and stimulus packages. So in total, the overall deficit for this year is expected to be 98.8 billion ringgit, up from the original budgeted amount of 84.8 billion ringgit.
He said this at the virtual Invest Malaysia 2021 Series 2 held today. Malaysia recorded a respectable 7.1% GDP growth in the first half of 2021, compared with a contraction of 8.4% in the same period last year, thanks to the effectiveness of the government's economic stimulus and financial aid programs. The Finance Minister said the third quarter 2021 GDP results will be announced next week, and the government is projecting weaker numbers given the various containment measures during that period. However, he expressed confidence that a strong recovery would be recorded in the fourth quarter of 2021. The Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry, MAFI, will establish a special cross-ministerial committee to assist farmers burdened by the increase in the prices of fertilizers and pesticides in the market. Its Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Rona Kiandi said the committee would identify the problem first before submitting their suggestion to resolve them.
Sedang menggerakkan satu task force bersama dengan beberapa kementerian yang lain termasuk KPDN, HCP dan juga Kementerian Kewangan untuk mengambil tindakan dan langkah-langkah perlu untuk membantu pihak pengusaha kecil pertanian yang berhadapan dengan masalah kenaikan harga baja dan racun.
Datuk Seri Ronald said this to reporters after the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) for the large-scale Smart Paddy Field (Smart SBB) project for the 2021 session between the government and 7 leading companies today. Coming up in sports, no shakam reward for Muhammad Ziyad. The participation of national men's single ace shuttlers Lee Zijia in the Indonesia Masters is still in doubt following the back injury he suffered in the final of the 2021 Hilo Open in Saarbrücken, Germany. National men's single coach Hendrawan said they were still monitoring the 2021 All England champions' condition, and a decision on whether or not Zijia would compete in the Indonesia Master would be made after assessing his fitness level. In a statement, Hendrawan said that Zijia tried his best, although he was also tired mentally, adding that this was a new experience for Zijia as he has to learn to manage fatigue. As for Zijia's back injury, Hendrawan said he has a few days to rest and they will make a decision at the 11th hour, and if Zijia still isn't fully recovered, perhaps the national men's single ace will skip the Indonesia Masters. The Indonesia Masters, scheduled from 16 to 21st November, is the first of 3 back-to-back tournaments in Indonesia under the Badminton World Federation BWF World Tour calendar. The other 2 tournaments are the Indonesia Open from 23rd to 28th November and World Tour Finals from 1st until 5th December. All 3 tournaments are set to be held in Bali. After that, attention will shift to the 2021 World Championships in Huelva, Spain from 12 until 19 December. National shot putter Muhammad Ziyad Zulkifli will not receive their R1 million reward under the National Sports Incentive Scheme (SHAKAM) following his disqualification in the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics. Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu said the decision made by the Youth and Sports Ministry (KBS), however, was not a form of punishment for the para-athlete after he missed out on a chance to defend his gold medal at the Tokyo Paralympics in August. Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal, without revealing the details, said several parties had offered to reward the 31-year-old athlete as an appreciation for his sacrifices and efforts at the multi-sports games.
Memberi tawaran kepada beliau agar kejayaan yang telah beliau perolehi tetapi tidak diterima itu dapat kita berikan sedikit ganjaran. Tetapi apakah ganjarannya saya tak molek untuk saya umumkan, kecuali kalau saudara Ziyad sendiri yang nak.
He said this at a media conference at the Integrity Day celebration and launch of the 2021 KBS level organizational anti-corruption plan at Menara KBS in Putrajaya today. When asked about the penalty for Ziyad and his coach Muhammad Faizul Harun, the minister said that the duo have received a huge punishment after the shot put champion could not bring home the gold medal from the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games last August.
Dan saya mendapati bahawa mereka sebenarnya telah pun, Ziyad, jurulatih pasukan, seluruh rakyat telah pun sebenarnya dikenakan hukuman apabila dua balingan yang memecahkan rekod dunia telah tidak diambil kira dan kita tidak mendapat membawa pulang pingat emas.
Concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Malaysia to work on proposed travel corridor with Indonesia. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.